Okay, now here we go. Our man Bilal is finally in the house. We were expecting you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here.
I forgot that you have a microphone. I'm not used to do this.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Listen, this is the first question of the interview. I'm diving. If you say no, I'm dead. Do you still do Soul Sister in the show?
We do.
That song is from your first album, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually not going to do it tonight, but I don't know. Why'd you ask me that question? Is it because you like it or you don't like it?
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Won't even talk about it. Won't even think about it. It's all too deep, my soul. I won't even think about it.
We understand that you've been into music from a very young age and you train both for classical and jazz. Which one came first and at which level did you get?
Which one came first? Well, I started out singing in the church, singing in gospel choirs. And I would say classical came after that because my mom got me into the Philadelphia Boys Choir. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of like classical voice.
And then jazz?
And then jazz.
Can I tell it? Ooh, tell it. All that it's done for me in my lifetime, you know. Hold it where I won't wanna be. I wanna be. Say, ooh.
But didn't you feel like kind of an outcast in the soul and hip hop community, having that kind of training, and maybe they would see you as the intellectual or the classical guy? It never
what
happened.
do you mean, like they didn't like me?
No, like you'd be different.
Yeah. I mean, I always had a different understanding and a different take, but I think different is good, you know?
My soul to his presence, 'cause I wanna find relief from living in this here world. You know this world ain't for when I'm over there.
I want to ask you about the title of the album, because it's an album that's got a very particular vibe to it. In Another Life. Is that wishful thinking, or is it a deception, or I would do this in another life?
In Another Life is just really a concept of me putting myself in other shoes, to be a storyteller, you know, to tell different stories from a different point of view, you know. Like there are songs on the album where I put myself in a...
Yeah, and there are terrible stories on this album, like the video you did for Love Over Money.
Money Over Love.
Money Over Love, sorry. Difficult situation people experience right now. Or even the video for Satellites, where you look like an alien who's being tracked down by a white policeman. Of course, that rings a bell, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're in America, you know, as a black person, we're under attack by the justice system. You know, just today, the cop laid on a man and shot him in close range and killed him, and said that he was resisting arrest. After they had two men hold him down, they shot and killed the man. So You're murdering people while people are standing around videotaping it on their phones. So that's the world we live in, and I take it as a charge as a musician. It's my duty, you know, to speak out and to show injustice, you know, and to demand change.
Home is where I wanna be. Yeah, yeah. Home is where I wanna be. I wanna be. Until the loved one. It's all too deep. It's all too deep. Oh, I won't even. Got a cold crush for you, baby. I'm just clueless as to what to do. Losing things, stumbling over my words just like a curse. It's out me, baby. This drunk love is crazy for you. Think it ain't maybe only twice. Take the advice of the words of the wise.
We were talking about the vibe of the album. I understand that Ali, Muhammad, and Andrew Young,
Adrian Young. Yeah, and Ali
also,
Mama.
and also a lyricist who collaborated with you. It's like you had a fusion of these spirits working together on an album that was just flowing.
Yeah. The album kind of came about from a little trip I took to LA. I went to LA to just hang out at the beach and
oh, cool.
To just play guitar and kind of clear my head, you know, to start a new project. That's what I kind of do. And I got a call from Adrian Young, and I had just got finished doing a jam session with him in Austin, Texas with his band. It was a festival,
South by Southwest. Yeah.
So after South by Southwest, I had came to LA and was just hanging out, you know, just taking in the weather, just clearing my head. And he called me up and said, you know, come past the house. You know, I want you to see my studio and, you know.
In LA.
In LA.
Not far from the beach, I hope.
Actually, he lived up in the hills, so it was a little ways from the beach. But I went there, and the way his recording was set up, it reminded me of when I first signed. When I first signed, everything was analog recording equipment, like
Warmer.
from reel-to-reel tapes.
Yeah.
He had all of that kind of stuff. So the way he was recording was very organic. I still record organic in my own productions on my last albums, but what I do is I mix media. I mix digital recording with live instrumentation because I don't have a reel-to-reel. So when I saw that stuff, it was just, I got so excited, you know. And we started writing music right then and there, you know. For the first time I walked in the studio, we did like 2 songs. And I came back the next day, we did two more songs. So
that fast?
Yeah, so I was just like, I wound up staying in LA for like a month. And we just going to his house every day making music. So this album just kind of flowed into something.
Oh, take my hand and make this trip round the world. Swallow my loneliness for all the good times. Here we build.
And then what's amazing, you know, critics are raving about you, about how creative and contemporary you are. But the album got that old school vibe. It's like old-fashioned, but still new, still turned by the future. You still hear the Delphonics in there, but with a matter more dramatic. Like the songs "Buried Next to You."
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard subject to talk about, right?
Well, I think it's the sweetest love song you ever want to hear, you know. If you're married to somebody and you're growing old with them, you know, that's the omega to the alpha, right? You know, at the end of the day, you want to be buried next to the person that you truly love, you know. It's been forever together, right?
But I can hold him back. You also say, "Give it to me before I die," which is
well, "Give it to me before I die." That comes out of the Kama Sutra understanding.
Really?
You know, yeah, you know, that's what really inspired me to write that song. Was I was reading the Kama Sutra, and the guy. He was so infatuated with this woman. He was so infatuated that he felt like if he didn't ravish her body, he would die.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
This drunk love is crazy for you. Think it ain't maybe only twice. Take the advice of the words of the wise. Get it. You might as well.
One last thing before we go, we'd like to hear you on people you work with. Like especially, we love your work with Robert Glasper. You already came here with him, even if you were not headlining, you came to Montreal. And Kendrick Lamar, who's on your album as well. And do you think the fact that he walked away with so many Grammys the last time tells us about the future of hip-hop in America?
Hopefully it means that the scope of hip hop is changing, where the conscious side of hip hop, the true vehicle of what hip hop was created for, is having more of a voice again, you know. And I think that's awesome, you know, because that was always the basis of it for me, was conscious music, you know, to really open up and give us a scope to what's really going on.
Thank you very much, Bilal.
For sure.